my screen. So good morning to everyone. Probably for some of you, good afternoon. If you saw me just a few seconds ago looking crazy to the sides here, we just have our baby bulldog, walking around the table here. So it was a quick look to see that everything was okay. So let me start the presentation. I'm seeing here that we have 50-50 here. 50% of the people attending the session is already a Kwik user, and 50% is not using the plugin yet or has just started. So originally this session was made for the new guys. So if you are a node user, you may not see many things or differently here or much new stuff. But anyways, at the Q&A, at the end of the event, you're going to be able to ask questions, and hopefully we are going to be able to answer all of them as well. So saying that, let's start the show. Let me close the poll here. So if you haven't voted, 1, 2, 3, and go. The poll is closed. I'm going to start to show my screen. And with that, we are going to start the presentation. So please let us know if you're seeing already my screen in this case.
We can see it very well.
Okay, cool. So again, as David mentioned, we have this big goal and to help everybody to be able to express the creativity that they have in a format of an app. So if you think about the way everything started, it was pretty much like that. Like most of you, I had a story to tell and I put myself to think about it, and I start to ask myself, what if I could create something, not this one here, but something like this. I was able to even visualize my story. By the way, this story is not mine. It's from Laura Watkins. It's called The Snow Queen. But like most of you, I had this dream about my story on a device, and I could pretty much see everything, the music, the illustrations, everything. But when I start to think about what kind of tools could help me to make this happen, I faced the things that most of you have faced already. The first one is, okay, if you have a story to tell, you're going to need a traditional publisher. And to get attention or even be published by a traditional publisher, it's not an easy task. It's too expensive. I started to figure out how much it would cost if I hired a developer to do it for me. It was too complex as well to do by myself because there's so many parts involved. So then I started to search about do-it-yourself tools, and I found out that although there were a few, pretty much all of them were very limited for the things that I would like to do. Also, almost all of them require revenue share, meaning that, okay, when I create everything, every time that I sell, I have to split my money with them. And also, usually the process to publish was too long from idea to app. So what should be something nice became somehow like a hell to me. So that's why I think it should be a way to make things differently. For example, make me able to self-publish or make you able to self-publish. Spend less than $250 with advanced features, with no revenue share, uh, making everything very fast to preview and to publish, and of course, if possible, creating everything from inside Photoshop. And the answer for that, especially for you coming for the first time or still learning about Kwik, is that you can do all those things here using Kwik. Okay, so kwiksher, the company, Kwik, the product. kwiksher, the company, was founded in 2011. And since then, our mission was to change the way people not only create stories, but the way people will experience these stories in a digital media format. So the first step was to create Kwik, the tool for creation. And every feature that we add, every new option that we put in the plugin, it's also willing to change the way your user at the end consuming your story will have a much better experience than when they use different apps from other publishers. I'm going to show you a few apps that were made with the plugin. So I select just four because time constraints. And what I did here, I select four different kinds of stories. We are going to have a storybook, we are going to have a game, and we are going to see a comic, and we are going to see a video story. So let me share my iPad with you. And hopefully it will come soon. Let's see here. I'm not sure if you can see my, it's not mirroring yet. Let's see, it's coming. And again, meanwhile, feel free to ask to bring your questions through the questions panel. So David will help me to answer all of them. So let me start showing you an app that is under approval right now at App Store. Also, I had this. So it's the new iOS 7. So which is Monsters vs. Robot. This is a storybook with some interactive games. So it's a multilingual app, so you can see it in Portuguese or English. And you have an area just here to play with some puzzles. So the idea is you can build the monsters. So okay, so now I know this monster, and this monster is called Dr. Mad Duck. But anyways, let's see the story. Uh, and this is an interesting story because you can just click this small face here, enable or disable read to me. You also have the concept of auto navigation on the top. And the way you interact with this story is in a linear format, but it's in a mixed way. In order to be able to go to the next page, you have to complete a few tasks in each scene. So you can click here and find uh, some nice sounds and animation, but as you can see, I cannot go back or forward without clicking the lights button. And when I do that, now I can go and continue the story. And the story goes, now I have to click to turn the robot on. So, and then I have some fun here. And so this is a storybook. So the other app that I'd like to show you is, and again, let me remove it and start from the scratch. It's a game made with Kwik as well, which is Stranded. There are other, but the idea of Stranded is a game where there's a story behind, and you start to collect things across your adventure, and based on the things that you collected, you put the volume down here, you can go to different paths according. So for example, now I can go to the right, to the left, but there's something on the screen here in the left, in the right side. So I'm going to click the object, then, okay, I'm capturing this object. So I see this rock here. Oh, there's something to rock. So there's a message. Again, a game. Another thing, it's not a story, but made with Kwik as well. Another one that I would like to show you, and the reason I'm showing different stuff to you is to show people, especially the new ones, that Kwik can be used to so many different things. And again, do it times just I'm just picking a few things. This is a comic book. So you can slide things and you're gonna read stuff and press stuff here in a different way. So that most people are familiar with tools like Comixologic or tools like that. But again, another kind of tool that you can have with Kwik. And lastly, I'm gonna show you now the Zala one, which is a different kind of story. It's almost like a video story with some activities in the middle. So you're going to see videos like this one, and in order to progress, you need to do a few things on the screen. So let's see if I can move on. Now I have to see the introduction. So then the story will start. Yeah, so I can start the story here, or I can see the chapters, and so you see I need to cross this part of the story. Then I'm gonna have an activity, and then the story will continue. But let me start, and I'm gonna pause and go back to the presentation. But as you can see, here, it's a different thing. Now you're seeing a full 3D movie, which is again another way to do your story. Yeah, it's more like more is less more, for example, for young children. So let me go back to our presentation here. So we cross this one. So let's talk a bit about the options that you have if you're just coming into this marketing willing to create an app. So what are your options? There are a few do-it-yourself tools in the market besides Kwik, and I would love to compare them. Again, there's a link here in the bottom if you wanted to check it later. But the thing is, let's start with those tools that mostly are used when you install everything via browser and you do everything via browser. They have good things to say. They will require much less technical skill than Kwik, for example. You don't have to pay anything to use them. It's pretty much free to use and play. They will not need a Mac for publishing. You are not need any particular tools like Photoshop, for example. You want to use it, and they are pretty fast to deliver. The moment that you upload your stuff, you have your pretty much your app. The reason for that, and for me, it's part of their weakness, are because when you deliver your app to them, your app's not going to exist by itself. It's going to be like a book inside a library. So the users will need to install their apps, I mean the publisher app, and they have then to find your book inside this app. So those kinds of tools are mostly used for store books. You cannot create games there or anything else, just store books. Very simple ones, in fact. They will charge you every time that they sell your book because your book will exist only in their store. So meaning that there is no such thing as your app on the App Store or the Google Play Store. You don't have any marketing control because your app does not exist. If you want to market, you have to market the publisher app. You cannot have any branding control because you have to follow their guidelines. And of course, there's no code control. If you need to put something different on your app, you cannot do that. There are tools like Kwik, which will create full apps at the app stores. They have some strengths. The number one is, of course, you can create any kind of app. there is no revenue share besides the money that Apple, Amazon, and Google collects when they sell an app for you. You have full control of marketing because you're going to have an app at the end and you can point your users to there. You have full control of the code, meaning that you can add more code if you need to. And of course, you have full control of your brand. You can pretty much put any kind of information, any kind of image, video on your app. But there are some drawbacks in this model. Of course, they will require a specialized tool. You will need to install something on your machine, a desktop application, or in our case, you have to use Photoshop. The initial costs are high compared to the no cost at all from the other model. And also, every time that you create your app, it will require approval from Apple, from Google. And of course, the initial setup is a little bit more complex than when you are using other tools. But again, the moment that you cross this, it's just one time, you are going to be able to do pretty much anything that you want. So let's talk about Kwik. Kwik is a Photoshop plugin, probably you know this already, that will allow you to create or to add interactions, animated content, audio into layers that originally are static things in Photoshop. So you do this with Kwik, and when you press the publishing button, what Kwik does is to create code for Corona SDK, which I'm going to cover in the next slide. But Corona SDK will offer the simulator for you to simulate your app before putting it on your device. And also Corona SDK will be responsible to create the final package to be sent to the stores. Okay, so Kwik creates the code. Think Kwik as a personal developer. Okay, you tell Kwik what to do, and Kwik will create the code for you. Then Corona will add pack this code to you and send to the app stores. And Kwik has been used to several people using professional features, especially for storybooks like Read to Me, Text Sync, Store Navigator, as I showed you. You can have both linear or path animations. You have all kinds of interactivities. You can set multi-language projects, as I showed you, and you have physics. So, I mean, it's a pretty powerful tool that you can have to create pretty much anything that your mind can think about. So Kwik has been used as of today from moms to big teams. There's more than 6,000 unique users in our database, meaning people who come at least once and download the plugin and install the plugin. And you have a list of illustrators, professional children book authors, going to people who never had any kind of previous experience with apps or development in the past, like PhD doctors in different fields, from clinical to documentation, going again to moms that are just waiting to create their apps to show off on the soccer afternoons with other moms. So more than 300 apps were created already with the plugin, from simple apps to apps that are or were number one in different countries, who have being rewarded with top prizes. And so again, the set of things and the way your app can fly, it will also it will always depend on the quality and the time that you spend on the app, but as well as in the marketing efforts that we do to promote your app. So talk a little bit about Kwik, and after that, in one or two slides, we're going to start to see demos, which is what you are looking for probably. So there's this dilemma right now, which is, okay, there's Kwik 2, and last week we announced, 2 weeks ago, we announced the Kwik Next. So it's just a compilation of the things that are going to change in a week. So as of today, we are offering the option for many of you to try and to install and to buy Kwik 2. Kwik 2 is a stable product. It has been on the market for more than a year now. It has a perpetual license model, meaning that you pay once and you can use it in as many projects you want for the time you want. But because there's a new version coming, this product will be for sale only to the end of this month. Okay, meaning that starting October, there is no more new features to Kwik 2. You still have small updates, especially for fixing things that are bugs, but there's no more new features coming to Kwik 2. Starting October, we're going to have Kwik Next. We are calling just Kwik from now on. Kwik Next will be, for a few months, still in beta. The subscription, the license model is going to be an annual subscription, meaning that you pay for the year. At the end of the year, if you don't like or you cannot pay again, you decide not to do, the product will stop to work as its full ability, and it will become a trial version again. Sales is starting in October, so that's why you cannot access Kwik Next at this moment. But the build of this is you're going to have new features every month. So the more you stay on your subscription, you get access to all the benefits that the plugin offers you. So a quick word on Corona. As I mentioned, you need Corona to use Kwik. So what's that? Corona is what we call a software development kit that pretty much does the following. It translates everything that Kwik creates, the code that Kwik creates, into the top 2 languages used in the market. If you decide to work for iOS natively, you have to write code in Objective-C. And if you decide to work natively for the Android device, you need to code in Java. Okay, so 2 very different languages. What Corona does is you use a language called Lua. I'm not going to bother you, not interested on that right now, but you just write once and Corona takes all the hard work to convert this code into the 2 different main OS right now. Okay, so meaning that you write on once, Corona will deploy in several different platforms. It includes, as I said, the simulator that you can simulate and build your final app. And Corona is available in 3 different versions. All of them are subscriptions. And again, I think it's important to mention that, especially because we have more than 50% of you coming for the first time. So you can install Corona, the starter version, which is free. So you don't have to pay anything and you can publish your app to any store. And in fact, the starter has been used by, I would say, 90% of current Kwik users because it has pretty much everything that users want and they don't have to pay. If you need some features, some professional features, like, for example, in-app purchase, you need to pay the pro version for Corona, which costs $600 per year. Okay, and if you're a big guy, a big company, you may have the enterprise version, which varies between $1,000 to $2,500. Okay, more information on that at coronalabs.com, and from there, of course, you can install the SDK. But again and again, before you get so worried about, oh, it's going to be too expensive, pay $600 here plus $250 for Kwik. Again and again, for 99% of the users, the starter is more than enough. So let's see some demos here and see the plugin for the first time. So let me, as I said, for this presentation, I am using Kwik, the new version that are going to be available for download and usage in less than a few weeks. So let me find here my panels, because let me show you. So I just started Photoshop. I'm not seeing much stuff here, so I'm gonna ask Photoshop to show my layers, and here it goes. And Alex, I'm not seeing Kwik here, and it happens when you install Kwik, you may not see it for the first time. So if it's your case, just come here at the window menu, extensions, and select Kwik. And then the plugin will show up for you. So this is the new interface. As I said, it has a few objects here. The first one is, of course, to get access to your old projects and allow you to create a new project. But you do have this quick list of the projects that you have worked in the past. So this way, if 3 months after you need to go back to a project, You don't need to remember where did I put it. Just come here and double click this, and it will open for you. Also, we start to add in this new version some template projects. So if you want to learn how to do a tutorial or how to create a small storybook and you don't know how to start, all you have to do is to double click these green icons here. And let me quickly do it. And it will automatically create a copy of this project for you. So this way you can learn and you can even build on top of this project. So voila, I have a storybook here with 3 pages. So I can switch page, and now I can quickly learn what is happening in each page. For example, in this page here, we do see a button in the switch. So I don't know what's the button. Can double click here and it will show me, okay, this button is on layer switch, which is this one here. And what it does is to go to the next page. So I mean, it's an easier way to learn faster. So not. Also, we add this app showcase here to help you, the user who have used our project, help us purchasing our tool. And now we are somehow giving you a little bit back. So every time that you publish an app and it goes to our showcase, we are going to add your app here. So every time that you launch Kwik again, a different banner will come up, and if you click, you can go to direct to the web page in order to learn more about the app and get some tips and tricks for the author. So I mean, another way to help with the promotion of your apps. So it's not anymore just Apple's website and the web. You can have other kinds of promotion as well. And also we have here a very clear information on how many days you still have to expire the version that you are using. You can check if there's new versions available. In our case, we are using the latest. I am using the latest version, and you can have your settings here. And there's lots of settings that you can do. I mean, it's not the purpose of this meeting today. But one thing that is new into all the redesigned windows that we are doing right now is this button help here. If you are here and you don't know what to do with the specific settings, for example, all you have to do is to click help, and it will send you to our most important hidden secret in the market, which is the user guide. We have this user guide, and we suggest everybody to take a look at the user guide, but most users simply prefer to go to the forum, send us an email asking for support, when in most cases, all the information they need are already written here in the user guide. But they have to come to the website, learn Kwik 2 user guide or new Kwik user guide. So what we are doing right now is with this new design is you click help, it directs you to the page. And besides the text if you prefer to read, you have a video explaining exactly what's written. So you don't know how to use something, just come here and watch the video. Okay. So again, another way we believe will help you to speed up your learning process with the tool. So saying that, let's start with a few things here. So we covered the main interface, okay? So, and I mentioned that we can create a new project using a template. We just did, but let's try to create a new project from the scratch. I come here to the new project button, okay? And all I need to do is to set a name. So I'm gonna call it Kwik Demo, Kwik 3 Demo. Device. It's important to pick the proper device. And this is something that may cause some confusion to some people, which is, what device should I pick? I want my app to all the devices available. Can I do that? Yes, you can, with some concerns. The thing is, because every device has a different screen size and a different screen ratio, it's impossible to create just one image and make it perfectly pixel precise in every screen possible. So in order to minimize this, because you cannot do this, we offer several kinds of options. So if you're planning to use the iPad Retina, which is at this moment one of, if not the largest screen in the market. Pick the option new iPad or new universal. What does it mean and the difference? When you select just a specific device, for example, new iPad only, iPad, or iPhone, or Kindle Fire, Kwik will create the project for you just for this device, meaning that all the image that your project has will be rendered only for this device. Okay, so if later on you decide to open your app on a device with a smaller screen, the same big screen that you created will be the decreased automatically by the operational system to fit your current screen. So, which is in some case a good thing to do. You don't have to think about having more image than necessary. But the thing is, let's say you create your project for the iPad Retina, and your big image has 1 MB of size. Okay, the iPad Retina has more memory. It's fine. But when you go to a Kindle Fire, for example, which has much less memory, it will need to load into memory 1 MB of image just to show your image. So it may slow down your device. So then it comes the beauty of universal projects. What universal projects do is they create a large image for this larger device, but as well as they create a smaller image for the smallest device. So in my example, when I open the Kindle Fire, instead of, and this happens automatically, you don't need to put any efforts on that. It's all by the code. When you open on Kindle, because Kindle is a smaller device, Kindle will pick the smaller image. So it will take much less memory to load it into memory. So your app will flow faster. Okay. The drawback of this is now instead of having just one app with 1 MB of size, you're going to have an app with 1.5 MB. The 1 MB for the image for the iPad Retina plus the image for the Kindle Fire. But again, you have to think about the more you plan on the design phase, the better when you come to Kwik. The other thing is orientation. You set the orientation. You cannot have a project that in some screens will be portrait, in other screens is landscape. Okay, so this is something new, which is if I just click right now, Kwik will create a project from the scratch, a blank project. But with Kwik next, you can point to a project that you made in the past and use it as a template. So what Kwik will do, it's going to copy this project for you and create a new one using all the images, all the interactions that you have set in the past into the new project. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's create it. I'm going to create this as an iPad just to save memory here. Meanwhile, any questions?
No questions to this point.
Okay, thank you. So we just created our project. Okay, so and you may ask why we are just seeing a blank page, because again we didn't have any image open when we decided to create it. So Kwik just create an empty page for you with the proper size of the device that we selected, the iPad in our case, and it's a blank canvas. Okay, you can draw from now on, and if you have another image, you can come and drag things here, and we're going to start to create your project. So what we are going to do in just a few seconds. So, but let's talk about this interface. The interface has changed now. At the top, we have the concept of tool sets. Each one of those larger icons, which can be, by the way, colorful ones, or if you decide to work the monochrome, you have all of them. And in each one of these tool set, you have different icons coming in the bottom. Okay. So in order to facilitate you to learn and to know where are you, you have also this arrow and the text telling in which tool set you are. In our case, we are in the project and page tool set. Okay, let me go back to the color icons. So uh, each tool set again is responsible for a bunch of features that you can use. In this case here, things like that are related to project and pages. For example, I want to check my project properties. Okay, it's in the project and page. I want to create icons for my project. It's here. I want to set how I'm going to visualize my project in different devices. Everything happens here in the project because this is about the full project. Also, if I want to create a new page, it's here. If I want to add an audio to the page, it's here because again and again, everything that you are going to use for the full page or the full project, it's in this tool set. The second tool set is about layers and replacements, things that you can attach to layers. Okay, and of course you can properties to the layer. You may say, okay, I have this layer here, but I want to have this in a smaller size when I start my project. Can I do that? Of course, in the layer properties. Oh, I want to export this layer not as a PNG, but as a JPEG. You can do it here. The third tool set is about animations, things that are related to any kind of animation that you plan to have in your project. The fourth one is interactions, all kinds of interactions. For example, I want to add a button, a swipe, or a drag in this case, a pinch object, a canvas, which is a drawing board, a shake, and also you have the physics objects. Okay. Below that, you have information about the current project, the name, the device, and the buttons that can be used to help the publish system. For example, when I finish my project, I want to compress every PNG file. Can I do that? Of course, just press this button. Or I want to publish my project with image or without image. All I have to do is to click this button here. Or I just want to publish this page. Imagine you have a project with 5 or 10 pages and you just are working on page 8, you can just export page 8 here. Okay, let me open a better project here. So don't save. Let me open this Kwik 2 animation here. So this is a project that I created with lots of animation. So you see there's lots of layers here. Okay, and I set different animations to each layer. How do I know they are animation? Number one, because I did the project, so I know. Number two, I have the visual reference of the icons. So the more that you use Kwik, the more you're gonna get familiar with the icons. So just see, you are gonna know where are you. But as because I'm using the color interface, if I see yellow, I see it's related to animations. Okay. So in my case, I have several animations and I have something green. I don't know yet what's that, Alex. So I came back to green and see, this is the thing. So it's a vector replacement. So uh, here, what I'm seeing is the component view, everything that I attached to this page. But I can also have the view by page, which is just clicking this icon here. Or if you're using again Kwik 3, you can press C for the component view or P for the page view. Okay, so back to C. So Alex, let's say I have 3 pages on my project and I don't know where I am. Which page is this one? There's the clue here, the visual clue. We are at page 1. Okay, I can select things here and press the delete button. I can copy things, paste things, but also I can now easily find things faster. So let's say I just want to see linear animations. I can come here and instead of checking for all, I can come here and say, okay, linear animation. Boom, I just have one linear animation in this page. Or I just want to see now for path animation. There's just one. But also I can come here and say, I want to find every or any kind of interaction that I have set, which has the letter or the word W. So, okay, I have all those with W's. But if I come here and say, okay, WB, oh, not much. WWDP, no way. So you can now WB check the and see that we have a blink and a bounce in our page. Okay, so this is a good way again to find out what you have on your page quickly. How can I play with the things? So let's go back here into that previous project, the Kwik 3 demo. We have this one here, it's a blank page. Okay, the first thing that we need to do, and some people forget about that, we must have a background layer. And if you do not create it, Kwik, you will use the top, the bottom layer of your project as a background layer. Okay, so usually what I do here is I come, I paint the layer, and boom, I have this layer as a background. I can come here and rename it, which I do recommend you to do. But if I don't, this layer is gonna act as the background layer. Okay, a tip for you, the old guys. If, let's say, you decide that this layer, which is the background, has just this side, and you come here and you create another layer. Okay, and now let's paint this new layer, this red here. Oops. Okay, so what's gonna happen now when you publish your project is, because your latest layer or the bottom is your background layer, if you try to swipe your fingers out of this range here, you will never swipe to the other page if you decide to use swipe, because again, the swipeable area is just this small rectangle here. So again and again, when you have a project, make sure that you do have a layer covering the full background, acting as a background layer. Okay, so let's create another layer here. So let's create another layer, and I'm gonna create now just a rectangle. Okay, so I have two layers here in my project now. Okay, what happens if I decide to publish my project right now? Okay, I can come here and publish it. And Kwik will create the code for us and open the simulator, which is opening right now for me. And as you can see, I got a black screen, and I don't have any idea what's happening because I'm just new to Kwik. So that's why it's important to have the terminal open, because even if you are not touching code, you can at least read the error. And it says here that there's this strange thing called local layer 2. I don't know what's that, but I can come back and see layer 2 is a layer. My issue here is, if you don't know yet, is I disable export with image. So my project was coded for me, but without any images. So that's the reason Corona is not publishing anything. So I'm going to enable export image. I'm going to publish again. And now it's going to take a little longer because besides code, it's creating image as well. It's not going to be that long because we just have two images. And now we have our project here. It doesn't have much yet. We didn't do anything yet, but this is the way it works. So let's say now you have this black rectangle and you want to animate it. Let me disable export with image because we don't need to export image again. I can come here to the animation. Oops. And let's create a linear animation, which is the most common kind of animation. This window will come up. You have to name it, because if you do not name it, Kwik will name it for you. And later on, you may not remember what is a linear underscore 237. So let's say linear rectangle. And you can play with the end position of this rectangle here, just moving the sliders or just entering the numbers. Let's say 200. Oh, let's improve this, 500 on X. So when you can say how many times it will play. So I'm going to accept this as is. So I'm going to create this, and now I'm going to publish. Okay. So now I see my object being move it, and I just did this using Kwik in Photoshop. And of course, anytime you can come back here and double click this and edit what I have done. For example, I want to reverse this at the end. Okay, and I'm going to work as well as I'm going to decrease the size to 50%. And I'm going to even enable this breadcrumb here, and I click again and publish. And here it goes. We have a different kind of animation, just switching a few uh, options in the linear animation. Okay, so this is the way you are going to work with Kwik throughout your learning process till when you are familiar and ready to go to do a full thing. So I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to open a completed project to show you the real life. So I have this Candice demo here. This is the project that we are using at the official course Kwik training at the School of Visual Storytelling. So at the end of our course, you're going to create a 6-page project. And this project, for example, page 1 has 2 buttons, has animations. Page 2 has lots of things. In fact, it's a large page. So let me show you meanwhile this project. So this way you are gonna know what we are gonna do at the end of this course. So, and let me change the hardware. This project was prepared for the iPad Retina. So here we go. So you can come in here, you see the animations, and you can click read to me, and you go to the next page and you see lots of animations, and you're going to have audio playing when the seesaw starts. You probably are hearing that, and we can move to the next one. And this one is a different kind of scene, and you may have some kind of animations here, and you have the black cat here. I'm going to leave. So let me click the black cat as a button. It's became white, and when I go to the next page, you see audio, you see animation. If I decide to come back to the previous page and now leave the cat as black, at least in Brazil, black cats have some kind of bad luck. So because I select the black cat, we see dark skies and raining. So I mean, you can play with Kwik to show something based on some decisions that the user made in the past. And then we go to the next page, which has some kind of physics, and you have the options to drag things, to drag the broom. And also, if you swipe the cord here, you have other kinds of things happening. I mean, it's not necessarily needs to be a button. It could be a swipe, as I mentioned, or something else. And in the last page, you are also able to paint stuff, or even go back to another page of the book. Just clicking a few buttons. So this is a much more complex project, but again, everything is done here in Kwik, as you can see. And the way, again and again, everything works is you can pick a layer. If it's a layer, go to the layer replacement and select the things that you want to do. If it's about the project, it's going to be here in this panel. And with Kwik 3, it's going to be much easier to you to understand and to get faster when you use one of the sample projects that come as a template. Okay, saying that, because we have less than 10 minutes, let's open for a few questions, and we'll go from there.
Hi, Alex. I have a few questions from a few attendees. They want to know if they have access to this presentation and demo somehow, if it could be emailed to them? Do they have access online at a kwiksher? How can they have access to this to see at a later date as well?
We are recording this session, so you are going to be able to watch the session again. I'm going to put it in the website, as well as I can put a link for the presentation. The thing is, the presentation, they usually are big, so I'm going to zip it. So if you decide to have it as a PowerPoint, you can have it. Um, and the only thing that I cannot share, because it's part of the agreement with the School of Visual Art, is the full demo, because only users attending the course will get access to this full project.
Perfect. Thank you. Next question is from Charlie. He wants to know if you're developing your app for someone else, an illustrator, an author, how can this be shared, with them while in development? How can it be shared with the person that hired them to create the app?
Okay, yeah, you cannot do that without passing the App Store. I mean, you couldn't, but there are a few ways to do that. You can ask them to send their iPad identification, and you enter this iPad identification at the Apple developer website. So this way, this iPad is allowed to use a demo version. So this is one of the ways to do that, which is simple. If you're just using one or two iPads, it's much easier to go there and to register the device and enter the number, and you can send the app to those guys. But in a more complex scenario where you have many people with many iPads, you cannot do that. So my suggestion is to use a service like Test Flight. Test Flight. Uh, I'm open here. Testflightapp.com. What it does is it's allow you to invite people to test your app while it's in development, and they are going to receive an email. They are going to sign up here, and they will be able to download the app while the app is not in the app stores. So testflightapp.com.
Thank you. Next question is from Natalie. She wants to know how can she sign up to the School of Visual Arts classes?
Okay. The School of Visual Art. So let me open the other one here. I have the link here. We posted this in our blog, and I'm gonna go back there because I don't remember by memory the website. But just a second, and I'm gonna get this to you. So here. So they offer two programs. There's the live program, which happens. It's 8 weeks. It's there. That's the link here. School of Visual Storytelling. So you have this complete class, which is a live class. It happens during 8 weeks, every Tuesday from 9 p.m. Florida time to 11. So this is the live class. Okay, this class is recorded, and yesterday we had the second session. Okay, so if you couldn't make this, or if the time frame is not good for you, you can always get the light class. The light class is pretty much access to the files and to the video of the recorded session, the live session. Okay, the only difference in this case here is you don't have access to ask questions and to get your own questions answered because you're not in the live class. But this is the way to go. Okay, and many people prefers to use the live class because they can watch at their own time. They don't need to commit on time, and but this is the link. If you cannot find the link here, just go to our blog and it's there. Next one, David.
Yes. Bob has a question, wants to know if you could please explain the device choices when starting a new app. For instance, what is the difference between the new iPad and the new iPad only?
Oh, it's a great question. And thanks for bringing that. So difference are, and maybe it's a little confusing, and maybe I have to review that. But anyways, when you select the new iPad, you are telling that your main target is the new iPad, meaning the Retina one. But you do know that some people have old iPads. Okay, so if you pick new iPad, Kwik will create an image for the new iPad as well as an image for the old iPad. So you're going to have two images. Let me show you quickly here. New iPad. And I'm going to select here new iPad, okay? Create, and I'm going to do just this simple stuff here, and let's publish. So our project is called new iPad. Okay, what you're gonna see if you go and check, and I know for most of you it's not gonna be something that you are planning to do mostly, is this. So we name it new iPad, right? Okay. When you press publish, Kwik will create this build folder for you, and it will add all the code and the image that you need. So let's see. Because I create for the new iPad, I have two images. Remember, I just have one layer. Why do I have two images? Because the big one is going to be used for the iPad Retina, and Kwik create a smaller one, which is half of size, 1024 by 768, and the other one is 1020. So in this case, when you open this app on an old iPad, Kwik will load this image here, which at this moment has 3.2 megabytes. Of course, we can improve this. But if you open it on iPad Retina, this is going to be the one loaded, much bigger and in large size. Okay, this is when you pick the new iPad. Kwik will create images for both iPads. If you decide to do it just for the Retina, you don't need two images. You prefer to have just one image for all kinds of iPad, and you come here and say, okay, iPad. I'm going to select new iPad only, okay? I'm going to create this, and I'm going to do the same now with a red background. So we just create this. Let's open back our project here. We had the new iPad, and now we have the iPad. Can you see that? Just one image was created. In this case, no matter if you're using an old iPad or a new iPad, this is the only image that will be loaded. Again, you save in disk space doing this. However, you commit on memory while loading this image in another device. And hopefully I answer your question.
Okay, thank you. Next question is from Chris. Chris wants to know if Kwik could be used with Illustrator or Corel Painter.
Short answer is no. Good answer is if you have Photoshop acting as the middleman, yes. Kwik only works for Photoshop, but most people, myself included, we create image on Illustrator. So for example, if let me show you quickly. So just to prove my point here, we when we were developing this demo, Candice, all the scenes were created on Illustrator, and all we did was to copy and paste into Photoshop. But again, you must have Photoshop. There is no Kwik directly inside Illustrator or inside Corel Painter.
Thank you. Next question is from Josh. Josh wants to know if on the new iPad example you just did, the solid black PNG image was about 12 megabytes. Would it be better to export as a GPG so it would be much smaller?
This is a great question. We have to remember that Photoshop is not known as the best PNG exporter in the market. That's why if you have, for example, let me open that project again. Don't save here, the new iPad 1. Let's say in this case, you have this big image, it's just one color. If it's just one color, I would suggest you not even export as an image. You have this option to export as a vector. In this case, this black rectangle will be drawn by mathematical formula, so you don't need an image. But let's say if it is a nice background, rendered background. Because it's rectangular and there is no need of transparency, you could just come here, select the layer, layer properties and say, okay, render this as JPEG. And I'm going to do this right now just to compare. Okay. You are going to still see the, let me go back to the new iPad here, the PNG files, because Kwik will not delete the old image for you. Okay. So, but now you have two JPEGs instead of the two. These two PNG files were from the previous export. Okay. So, and now you have two JPEGs, much smaller, 34K by K against 3.2. All right, and 73K against, oops, 12.6 megabyte. But sometimes you cannot do that. Your image needs to have transparency. It's not a squared image. So let me go back here and remove this export as JPEG. Okay, and I'm gonna simulate the same process. I'm gonna delete the JPEG because now we just exported as PNG, right? And this is how Photoshop exported this. Big image. If you come here and see, we have in total almost 16 megabytes for two really stupid images. That's why Kwik offers this option here, compress PNG file. When you press that, Kwik will compress your PNGs. And now you see that, remember that two large PNGs that you have, Kwik automatically reduce them to 24K, the first one, and 25K, the second one. So a huge improvement just with a press of a button. So this, when you press this button here, you are bypassing Photoshop. You're not using the Photoshop exporter. When to use this button, just when you finish your project and when you exported the original image from Photoshop. This is just a compressor. It will not create the image for you because Photoshop is in charge of doing that.
Thank you. Next question is from Don. Don wants to know what will be the subscription cost for Kwik Next.
I didn't put this here, but it's going to be the same price. It's $249.99 per year. And again, and this is going to be the annual version. We start in December. We are going to have a 90-day trial version, not trial, rental version. You are going to be able to rent Kwik for 3 months, and you are going to pay $100 for this. You have Kwik full for 3 months. At the end of 3 months, it goes back to trial mode. And if you decide to rent again, you can rent again, or you decide to purchase or the full subscription, you can do that as well.
Thank you. Next question is from Josh. It's a follow-up question. Wants to know, would you want to keep Illustrator source images in vector format also for smaller sizes?
Again, when you import to Kwik, it became a PNG. You may keep your illustration files just to edit this, but in most cases, what we do, let me go back here to Candice demo. You're gonna see that when you bring an Illustrator image, can you see that it comes as our smart object? So if you double click the smart object, in this case it's a Photoshop one, but in some of them, yeah, Candice, the witch, for example, I just double click Candice because it came from originally from Adobe Illustrator. When I double click here in Photoshop, it will open Illustrator for me and I can modify Candice there. And when I save in Illustrator, it will automatically save it here. So again, it depends on your workflow. Some people draws everything in Illustrator and using this will keep things tight. Others prefer to draw everything in Kwik. So let me just do an example here. Let's say I pick this part here and I'm switching this. Just let me take note of the original color for 83963. Let's say I'm gonna change this to light blue now. Okay, I'm gonna save this and close and back into Kwik. You're gonna see that my witch was modified. Any more questions, David?
Thank you, Alex. Yes, seeing no more questions at this time.
So, guys, thank you very much for your time today. Again, we know that it's impossible to cover the full Kwik in just 1 hour. That's why we have this 16-hour program with School of Visual Storytelling. And even in this program, we are not covering a few things there because people think, it's just a plugin, it's going to be fast. The more time that you put trying to learn Kwik, the better for you when you go to a real product. Kwik is somehow easy to use when you know this. It's like Photoshop. There's lots of power here. The more there you use, the better to extract the best of the tool. But the thing is, you can do just simple things, small buttons, small animations. But the more you decide to add in terms of functionality, you need to learn better Kwik. So that's why we strongly recommend you to take a look at the tutorials, read the user guide, ask questions in the forum, and play with the tool because this is the best way to learn its full potential. So saying that, thank you very much again for your attendance. I'm gonna stop the recording right now, and later today or tomorrow morning, this recording will be available for you to watch again. Thank you very much, and thanks, David.